Vercel is the platform for front-end developers, providing the speed and reliability innovators need to create at the moment of inspiration. Founded by the creators of Next.js, Vercel has zero configuration support for 35 plus front-end frameworks, including SvelteKit. We enable the world's largest brands like Under Armour, eBay, and Nintendo to iterate faster and create quality software. Try out Vercel today to experience the easiest way to use Svelte.
Hey, it's another Svelte Radio episode. We're back. It's almost a new year, and we're very excited. Woo. It's looking good for Svelte and SvelteKit. We're getting a lot of
it is
new users into Discord. The subreddit is popping off. The traffics are out of this world. Okay, it's not that good, but it's pretty good.
I think people were just waiting for that 1.0 milestone, and now that it's there, it's like everybody's like, "Oh, I've got to try it now." Now it's ready. Although it's
and I feel like a lot of people that try it are enjoying it, which is great. So yeah.
I feel like that's the magic of Svelte, is what it's been for me every time. Is like a new user experiences other frameworks and then comes to Svelte and they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was like this simple.
It's pretty good. All right. So what have you guys been up to? Brittany, Sean?
Interviewing like crazy and going through all of that. And then I've taken mostly a break over the holidays, which has kind of been nice. But it's been weird because there's no purpose right now. Like, and I don't do well with like nothing to do. So I've just been playing a lot of video games. My kids are off at grandma's, so I'm kind of bored. I redid this siren site in Skeleton. I'll talk about that later, but
all right. Yeah. Sean, what have you been up to?
How about you, Sean?
This week has been mostly just, the whole company is shut down, so you just get to work on your own projects. Mostly I cleared a bunch of reading, and then I mess around with some code stuff, nothing huge though. But probably the biggest thing was I wrote a post that was top of Hacker News yesterday, and it was very fun. Mostly messing around with Notion AI, which is the new Notion feature that launched. Do you guys have access?
I just got access, but I haven't tried it yet.
I didn't even know it was.
I think it's pretty good.
So.
Yeah. So when you do the / command in Notion now, you get a bunch of AI features, cool. And you can just tell it what you want, like write a blog post, write an outline, brainstorm ideas. I think it's pretty nicely done. And the Notion people, so my blog post was about essentially reverse engineering their prompts. So I basically got the source of Notion AI, and I was actually very worried that they would be offended or like, take back my access to Notion AI. But then they were in the comments in the Hacker News post, like telling us to take advantage of it.
That's nice.
Go nuts.
Oh my gosh.
They just don't care. So yeah.
That is really awesome. If I could get the AI to work for me to like write the outlines and the things that I hate about writing blog posts, I probably would enjoy it more. So maybe I'll have to give that a shot. That's the stuff I hate about blog posts, just the prep.
Yeah. So, there's been various measures of the state of AI as of today. If you make AI take an IQ test, it comes in at about what is
100 is average, I guess.
It was an IQ test. It was a SAT.
Right.
If you take an SAT test, it comes in at about 1,020 out of 1,600. So just the reading and math stuff. So it's not that good. Is what I'm saying. Like it can speak.
I was like, I got English. A little more than that.
Exactly. Most people would. So I think you just have to take it with that caution. Like it's not that intelligent. It will not make you look good if you just copy and paste the output and pass it off as your own work. But I think it's a good starting point.
Yeah, I saw like there's a podcast or show called the WAN Show by Linus Tech Tips, I think it is. And they have like these show notes and stuff, and they like the last episode, I think they tried like, so the host didn't know, but the writers that write the show notes tried mixing in like one of the topics was written by Chat GPT, basically, and the host had to guess which one was the real one. Well, real is a relative, of course, but it was he didn't get it right. So it's a.
Since we're already talking about this AI stuff too, I was telling you that I might talk about this later, but that.us is a conference site. They're a community, but they're written in SvelteKit. And yesterday I was talking to Vercel, who runs that, and he used Chat GPT to automatically generate like a SvelteKit landing page, and it did like this 12 column bootstrap grid with Tailwind, and it's kind of interesting that like he just gave it the prompts and it just built out the page. So this thing about like our programmers jobs, like we would still have to code the AI, so I don't think our jobs are completely going to go away, but maybe those mundane tasks and stuff might get a little easier.
It's going to be so nice though. Yeah, so what's new? The live stream went well, I think. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people who show up, and I think we even reached like almost 500 consecutive viewers, which is great.
Yeah, like on the live stream, which is really good for a live stream on the channel.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a new website. There's a learn.svelte.dev. We could go into that in detail if you want to. I think we did in the episode, right? So
yeah, we looked at a lot of that in the episode. I think there were some blog posts and things that I received that I didn't mention. I don't know. I did a lot of planning for that, like reaching out to people and trying to get them to do the video snippets and things. And then a couple of people just wrote blog posts and stuff around Svelte, and I didn't know how we were going to aggregate all of those and show them off. But that would be cool if we could go through maybe a new blog post or something.
Yeah. Do you have any that we can take a look at?
Yeah, I don't know if it's great for a podcast though.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I can get them together and maybe we can do something like show them off somehow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We could feature them in the What's New in Svelte newsletter.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of links.
And it's still in staged, right? It's not merged yet.
No.
Yeah, it's still being worked on.
Yeah, so that's great. That gives me purpose for today. That gives me something to do. Thank you.
Yeah, there are a lot of stuff in the What's New in Svelte. Like the newsletter is great.
Yeah,
like I love that Danny's doing that.
Danny does such a great job with that, and I was so happy to have them on the Sirens and just like find out like how all of that started and the work that goes into it. And anybody that wants to help out with that, please do, because I'm sure it's a slog every month to do that alone, and any help is appreciated wherever you can give it. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, we could go through it a bit, or we could save that for next week. That might be when it's actually out, so people can take a look at it. Yeah, when it's actually out, and I can add all the things to it, but maybe we can do that as like our New Year, New Goals episode. Yep. I think that makes sense. Yeah, so what do we want to talk about? Let's talk about the Sirens site being rebuilt with Skeleton.
Yeah.
I think that could be fun.
Cool. So I had Chris from Skeleton on the Siren stream, and we went through just what Skeleton was, what purpose it has, what things it gives you. And so it's built off of Tailwind. So you use Tailwind's base utility classes, but it creates Svelte components for you that you can just drop into a Svelte site. And it's Svelte first, actually SvelteKit first now that it's 1.0. So it used to be Svelte and Astro. Now it's just SvelteKit. They also have utilities that you can use that allows you to drop in like Svelte actions, like for modals, local storage stores, like different things that you can use with their utilities, which is really nice. And I mean, it took me a little while, but honestly, the Siren site really needed a rewrite. When I wrote it in a rush trying to get it out and threw a bunch of different CSS things in there, and it really needed work. I think there was 41 files changed in the PR I just made.
Ooh. So have you pushed it live yet? Or are you?
No, but it's in review. It's as a PR, and it should be live soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Willow said she's going to review it today.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a design change,
So I'm not sure what to think about these UI libraries. So I kind of like them, but at the same time, they're very hard to work with, to customize in the way that you want to use them. I usually just end up writing my own, which takes a lot of time, I guess. But
I completely agree, because I have the design background, so I want to do like a lot of the design myself. So I don't really love like dropping these in, but this one does a really good job of giving you props that you can change and customize a little bit for the things that you do drop in. And then a lot of it I just built myself.
Yeah, that's usually how I do it as well.
I dropped the deploy preview in the chat too.
There's this trend in React of headless components or headless UI libraries where they only give you the sort of behavior and then you can sort of customize whatever you like. And part of what I talked about at Svelte Summit was making sure that we encourage both sort of level 1 and level 2 suppliers of components. So Skeleton would be sort of level 1 is what I said, which is more consolidated pieces. And then level 2 would be individual pieces like type ahead or date picker or something like that, you might want to customize a little bit more. So yeah, it's really cool to see. And I think like if you're basically doing styles, then using Tailwind does it very well. But, unless you have a lot of nesting inside of the component, then maybe it's a little bit hard. But then we have slots and all that. So I don't know. I think there's enough options if you design
Kevin and I talked a little bit about Tailwind yesterday, but we weren't recording. So I'll say this again, is that I think Tailwind does a really good job of giving you the tokens that you need for your base system. It's not a full design system, but it gives you the tokens that give you the spacing and the guidelines that you need to build the components off of. But you really need to like put those into components that you can then use over and over again to keep a design system consistent. So like it gives you the pieces, but I don't think it's all there. And I still think you have to know CSS to use Tailwind well. So
I don't disagree with that.
It's kind of like guardrails in a sense. Like for like, so you don't stray too far outside of what you're actually, what you actually should build. Yeah. Yeah. So looking at the skeleton UI thing, or I guess it's just called Skeleton, right?
Skeleton.dev is the website. Yeah.
Yeah. We mentioned actions there as so that's a Svelte feature. We're not talking about SvelteKit actions or web form actions. So there's a problem with using Svelte actions for a couple of things, like because you can't server-side render them, right? Which means that if you're using, so I just saw this on the preview here that you posted. I have dark mode on my desktop, but when I go to this new Svelte Sirens website, I get the light mode one, I think.
You did? And it's supposed to automatically detect that.
Yeah, but then as soon as I click something, it switches to the dark one. And that's probably because it's an action that's applied somewhere to toggle between dark and light.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's the main issue with using actions in general for styling. Because you never know what the user, especially for things like dark and light mode, because you never know what the user
You can't detect that on the server side. It would, that makes sense.
Exactly. So that's one thing to look out for. But if you're just doing like an SPA, that should be fine.
How would you detect dark mode setting on the server without, you can't do that.
You can't, no.
Yeah.
So you'd have to use the, what's the CSS thing? Prefers.
That's what it uses under the hood. It prefers dark scheme. Prefers color dark scheme.
Yeah, but if it's doing something with JavaScript, right? Then the JavaScript has to load before.
I don't know if that specifically is. Let's look.
Yeah. I don't know.
Switch.
It's just like,
Let me look at the code. View source. The light switch uses.
could just be like a regular.
It has an on mount that checks if set prefers dark scheme. So it checks all of that like as soon as it loads, but it can't check that before that. It should detect it and switch it without you clicking anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not doing that.
That's interesting. Maybe I have something wrong.
It's specifically when I click the menu button as well. So I'm not sure. Maybe you put it in the, I don't know. Maybe it probably doesn't load until you click the menu, right? Like if there's an if clause in there that shows the menu if you click on it.
There is, yeah. So it's not
then
loading.
That's probably it. Yeah.
How would I fix that? I need to fix that.
You would put it outside the menu somehow. But yeah. Or use CSS to hide the menu instead of JavaScript. That's another option. Because then you would have it in there.
So instead of an if block in Svelte, use just CSS to...
Yeah. The good old CSS.
I was wondering why I was having some weird interactions with that menu, but that makes sense now. I had the bubble toggle do that too for me, where it would every time I opened the window, it would switch, but I thought I fixed it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think the bubbles are working as they should. Anyway, let's move on from skeleton. There's so this episode is titled what's it titled? It's titled "We All Live in a Svelte Submarine." Does anyone want to like explain to me, because I didn't title this one. So
we were talking, Sean and I, the other day. We logged on to do a recording, and we were just chatting about all the interviews that I've been going through. And one of the companies that I've interviewed for is Defense Unicorns, which is an amazing name, in my opinion. It's great.
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
In this interview process, first of all, like their company uses Gather, which is like an online. It's sort of video game-esque, like Pokemon style, where you log in and you go to a picnic table and you can have a meeting at the picnic table. And it's got video and microphones and everything. So you have all your chat features and your like Slack stuff, but in Gather, which is really cool. And just the culture there seems like such a fun place to work. Just that. And then the people were all great. But in the interview process, I found out that what they do is they work for the government, so the U.S. government. So they do defense contracting with the Defense Department. They do FDIC work for the banks, and then they do Medicare and Medicaid, so for healthcare. They said that one of their things, all of this is some of this is open source too. So they have a Unicorn UI, which is their design system that they're working on that may go through a rename at some point. And then they have Zarf, which is one of their applications that you can look at on their website. And Zarf powers submarines and possibly in the future spacecrafts. So Svelte is being used on the front end to power submarines. And I think that is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
That is pretty cool. Yeah. I wonder, like, it would be so cool to see like the actual interface. Like, what does it actually look like?
I wonder if we can find the actual interface.
Yeah.
I mean, mute.
Well, Svelte in space sounds nicer.
Yeah, that is true.
Svelte in space does sound really cool. But Svelte, submarine, space, we've got all the S's. It's being alliterative.
Yeah, exactly.
We can just turn into snakes at some point and just like hiss.
So zarf.dev, zarf.dev is the application that they use, and it says DevSecOps for AirGap. AirGap is their API that they have to connect to.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like a fun place to work at.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. So we'll see how things turn out. Hopefully I'll have some news in the next week.
Yep. All right. Yeah, anything else that you guys wanna talk about?
In our prep for this, I also went on their GitHub and snooped around. It looks like they're in the beginning stages of open sourcing a design system as well called Unicorn UI.
Yep.
So it looks like it's early stages, but it is a Svelte component library.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
a few components in there, and apparently Unicorn UI is a bigger design system, so they did mention that they'll probably go through a rename at some point, but for now it's just called Unicorn UI, and it is open source on GitHub. I think they have 3 repos on there.
I think the name is great. Like, why would you?
I do too,
rename
but if
that?
it's already
Yeah.
used by a bigger design system, you don't want to fight like a big SEO battle with...
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true. Yeah. All right. I guess
the mascots are really cute too. The
they look
defense
like
unicorn and
Pokemons.
Zarf.
They really
They
like
do
the
look
Zarf
like
one.
Pokemons,
Definitely
yeah.
does looks like a Pokemon. Yeah. All right. Do we have any other topics that we want to talk about, or should we move on to the unpopular opinions?
Yeah, we can move on. I would just say like so we have links here in the Svelte newsletter. I actually went through some of them, and I was going to shout out some of the good the ones that stood out to me that I would point people to. But also it's just really hard. There's just a lot of links, and I don't want to like play favorites or whatever. There's a good summary of like the breaking changes in SvelteKit, even though there weren't supposed to be any, but they're very minor. I don't think it was a big deal to update any of them. Updates about Svelte language tools, and then a bunch of new Svelte projects that everyone has been working on. It's really really inspiring. Oh, it looks like Rich also did a second talk after the SvelteKit live stream, right?
He did.
Svelte
He did
London.
one at Svelte London. Yeah, we could.
And
link
he
that
went
in
on the Primogen stream and taught the Primogen Svelte.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I haven't seen that one, so we'll see.
I watched part of it. It was interesting.
I'm gonna see if I can find a link for this this London one. Here we go.
Right. Yeah. It's in the newsletter. GitHub PR. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And then maybe the most interesting title that stood out to me was someone wrote a blog about now that React is dead, what is the next big thing? And I wasn't aware that React is dead.
It's like clickbaity stuff.
So maybe you want to check that out. I did actually go look at the Stack Overflow 2022 survey, and Svelte used to be number 1 in terms of the most loved frameworks. It's now dropped to number 2 because there's a new entrant, Phoenix, from the Elixir community.
That happened last year, right? Too? Didn't we come in second in 2021?
No, Svelte was first.
Are you sure? Yeah.
I thought
maybe.
we dropped to 2, but it was like very close and solid too in the framework battle.
So you might be, I think you're talking about State of JS. This is Stack
the other-
Overflow. Yeah.
Okay.
So Stack Overflow is much bigger. It's like 60,000 people versus State of JS being like 10 to 15,000
I
people.
have heard of Phoenix before.
Yeah. Either way, actually, so that's the rankings, which is fine. But then the actual percentage of people interested in Svelte or loving Svelte or like liking Svelte went up, whereas every other major JavaScript framework went down.
What?
That's a very good review of
Yes,
Svelte.
because this is the financial analyst in me going like,
That's one of the
there's
inflection points too, right? Is that the more users you get, eventually you're going to hit that point that your satisfaction goes down. So seeing that our users are going up and the satisfaction is staying high.
Exactly.
It's really good.
So like Phoenix came. So Phoenix wasn't there last year, so like we just don't know. But so Svelte went from 71% loved to 75% loved, and then React went from 69 down to 68. Vue went from 64 down to 63. Angular 55 down to 52. So Svelte's the only one going up.
It's a good sign.
Interesting.
Well, not for the other ones. I'm just kidding.
So I don't know like if people are like watching this stuff, but like the numbers are all there. You just have to compare across years.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like it's interesting. I wonder if they have the ability to show this like over time. That'd be cool.
They do. They just don't want to.
The Jamstack survey had Svelte and SvelteKit in the upper right corner of growth and satisfaction too this year.
See, we're winning.
It also had
right.
similar findings for Vue and Nuxt, which is just, I mean, I hope it's not like that community's great, Evan's great. It's just, I hope it's not going to die out, but I don't know that it's going to ever overtake React now, which I think was the thought in the beginning.
Well, maybe not Vue, but like it kind of feels at the moment, right, for most people that React is never going away, right?
Well, yeah, it's
but
like
then,
jQuery. jQuery is still being used on how much of the internet?
Yeah.
Like it's,
but it's not being
needed.
talked about. No one's talking about it, right? But it's very widely used. It's like WordPress as well. Oh, no one. It's like at some point React is going to fall off the cliff to some other new tool. It could be Svelte. It could be anything, right? But it's still going to be used. So it'll be fine. I'm sure like there are people still using like Meteor and Angular and all of these other frameworks as well. So
one of the other companies I interviewed for is migrating an old Angular JS project to SvelteKit.
That sounds like if you know both, like a fun thing to do.
Oh no, I think that part of it is mostly done. So I would not be working on the migration for that company.
Gotcha.
Thankfully, because I do not know Angular JS.
Yeah, it's I don't either. So before we continue with the episode, here's a word from our sponsor, Vercel.
Vercel is the platform for front-end developers, providing the speed and reliability innovators need to create at the moment of inspiration. Founded by the creators of Next.js, Vercel has zero configuration support for 35 plus front-end frameworks, including SvelteKit. We enable the world's largest brands like Under Armour, eBay, and Nintendo to iterate faster and create quality software. Try out Vercel today to experience the easiest way to use Svelte.
Should we move on to unpopular opinions?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Brittany, you're up.
So Sean wrote this one for me because we were having a conversation the other day, and it says DevRel sucks. I don't think DevRel sucks. I think DevRel is not for me right now. I love the pieces that I do in the community with Svelte Sirens and Coding Cat, this podcast, like this kind of DevRel stuff. I love, I enjoy. I would do this in my free time just as a hobby. I don't need to get paid for this. But the other pieces of DevRel that, like, I don't know if this is because I got laid off and feel like I got burnt by that and that kind of sent me into this burnout spiral, or if I just like worked for Netlify, who has more people now and like their structure was set up. They knew what DevRel was about and they kind of had an idea of going down that path. But most other companies have no common standard for what DevRel means. You could be a marketer, you could be a social media person, you could be a blog writer, you could write docs, you could write templates. And it's all over the place in the industry. And it's a lot. And going into a job where you're like, you may have to do any number of these things, and half of those things I don't enjoy, I'm like, maybe it's not for me anymore. So that's kind of what led me down this path of wanting to get more back into front-end engineering and start interviewing more for companies like that. So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about like DevRel. I guess my role is purely DevRel in a sense, but it's also, I don't know, it's my role is weird, right? But it's like
you dictate what you do though, so you can make your own way. Yeah. There are things that are probably needed that you don't enjoy, but like having to go out and get sponsors and like beg for money and stuff like that, I don't enjoy that.
Yeah, that's not really a DevRel thing, right? So
it can be actually, like having to
independent creator lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
Like for podcasts and stuff, I would have to reach out to people. And I mean, I don't mind that stuff, but there's sponsorships and things involved with that too. And
interesting. Like I've always had like, I've never had to, well, actually that's not true. Never mind. I was going to say like, I haven't interacted with any DevRels for sponsorships, but then when I think about it, I definitely have. So
yeah, you definitely have.
But yeah,
the DevRels just tend to be the face of the company. It's the person that you would like maybe know or ask for something from, and they might get you to the right person.
Yep.
So they may not be the person that handles everything, but they're kind of the person that works for that company, and you reach out to them.
Yeah.
There are some things that you've done now, for example, put on a conference for Kev, and then for Brittany, like live streaming, consistently and constantly, and with really high quality. Those are very good DevRel activities, but that doesn't actually mean that you would like doing it for your full job, or that you would like doing the other parts of DevRel. And that's totally fine. You don't have to be in DevRel to do those things. I would definitely consider those as parts of what the job entails, but they're perfectly good engineers and engineering managers who also do those things, and sometimes better than professional developer relations. All I will say is, I guess like it's good that you like had the experience, so like now you're very clear on what you want. I wish that you had a better experience, because it's been very beneficial to my life, because I've been doing this for like 5 years. And it is a very new field and new career, and that is something I warn people about, because I think people tend to oversell the like, oh, you can just go to conferences and create all the time and don't have to do any real work. But no, like there is a lot to be worked out in terms of the career path, and you felt the bad side of that.
I think that's what bothered me, and I think that I may come around to a different place at some point where I get back into it. It's just right now, I think the way that I'm feeling is just bummed because I got laid off, and just that's part of it. I don't think it's necessarily the job per se, but
you got caught in the bad economy essentially. But still, if anyone else is like considering, going into it or leaving it, I'm happy to talk to people. I would say like, I do think that it is the responsibility of founders and DevRel leaders to define that for you. That is something I do try to do for my team. And if you're not getting that, you need to expect it or ask for it. And this is something that we can always have a conversation about, because people have feelings like that, and there is a career path that is broader. That's if you look at the longer history of DevRel at like Microsoft and Google and Apple, but most startups have not bothered to do any of that research. They're just like, we're just gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Just expounding on that a little bit. Do you have an idea of what you would expect DevRel's metrics to be? I think that's one of the problems for
$1 million question.
Companies.
I have a blog post on it that is now required reading at Google, apparently. It's called Measuring DevRel.
Let's just mic drop that.
I was surprised that just someone at Google told me about it. And I was like, wow, okay, I didn't know that. I dropped it in the show notes. But just a TLDR of it.
Monthly active developers. That's what you hear almost everywhere.
Right, exactly. I actually took that term from Netlify, but it's going to differ. It's either monthly active developers or monthly active clusters, because sometimes you cannot track developers. But for a SaaS platform like Netlify, you can. So that's the more direct thing. And then it breaks into either your community type of DevRel, your content type of DevRel, your product type of DevRel. Those are the ways that people naturally end up splitting. Brittany, I see you as kind of community and content, and probably more on the content side, but you could also do community if you wanted to. But like, it's going to be very clear based on what people prefer to do. If you just throw them a bunch of tasks and then like you see what they naturally gravitate to and get done really well versus the others they kind of struggle with. And like, I mean, and then, I have some opinions on like bad metrics as well. So all that's in the post. I don't want to sort of regurgitate it.
I'm going to read the post. Yeah, this is great.
All right. So DevRel doesn't suck. It's just not for you at the moment.
No, provocative statement is that it does suck. So I will also say like, it's probably overrated by a lot of developer tools. Stripe did not hire its first developer relations until like 6 years into its making. So Stripe didn't need DevRel. Do you need DevRel? There's all these other questions about the actual value of DevRel. I will say, like, as a potential founder someday, I think it's a very good practice stage for selling your craft, or learning how to sell, learning how to build a network on someone else's time, while you're providing a real service. And I think it's a good gig if you want to do that. But yeah, it does have downsides.
Yeah. All right, let's move into unless we have more unpopular opinions. No,
I'm done.
Actually, I have so many.
React is dead.
No. So I think I have one about. So I used to. I talked a bit about like a search engine that I was paying for like a couple of episodes ago. I think. Don't remember which one, but
you did.
It's called Kagi. Yeah, and I think like there was a thread on Hacker News recently about it as well. And like a lot of the comments there are people trying to skimp out on, I understand that like $10 could be a lot, but as a developer, you pay a lot for your tools generally. Like you spend a bunch of money on your computer. Well, maybe not you specifically, but the company that you work for.
Yeah.
And productivity wise, like using Kagi has been such a nice experience. So good. And my unpopular opinion is that, maybe it's not unpopular, we'll see, is that you should pay for stuff if it actually enhances your productivity in general.
I think that is like kind of an unpopular opinion, because a lot of people will be like frugal, or I don't want to say something offensive, but like exactly. Like, why would I use this when I could write this script together with this other thing and do this and this and this, and then maybe it works for a week and then it breaks. Or the whole programmer mindset of like build it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think like just pay for things. Like if it's worth it, pay for it.
Especially if it's like a service like authentication too. Like I say this all the time, like just use one of the tools that already does that well. You do not want to build your own authentication.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's true for a lot of things. And it's not just like developer tools. It's also just like what you said here, authentication. It could be anything. Like that's actually worth paying for. But yeah. So that's my unpopular opinion. Not sure if I guess it. Yeah. People should pay for stuff. Let's call it that. All right. Picks. We have a bunch of picks here. So I'm gonna I think they're all yours. So you guys go ahead.
Yeah, Sean is first.
Well, so I recently adopted Arc browser. That is the browser from the Browser Company of New York, which is a fun company name. They need to bring back the old school type of company naming. And it is essentially a skin on top of Chromium, which is very interesting to me that Chromium itself is open source and the Google people are completely fine with Arc competing with them. I guess because it's still running Chromium under the hood, and Google is still the default search engine. I think that's all they want. I'm not super sure. But Arc, I think, is killing Chrome in terms of it is much better for browser tab management, which is the main thing I have struggles with. I will have weeks and months where I have hundreds of browser tabs open because I use them as a reading list, and Arc has a ton of features to help you manage, from like sort of vertical stacking of tabs to organizing tabs into spaces and making it really nice to navigate. Split pane views, which even though I use a window manager, I use the split pane view as a stack of windows that I open up, and then when I'm done with everything I'm doing, I close the entire stack, and it's just a nice way to group windows. And then finally, the little Arc browser, which is a temporary small browser. When you click on the link, it doesn't open a full browser. It just opens a single instance singleton browser, which is exactly what I have on my phone. I use Firefox Focus on my phone. I think I picked it before, where you want to have a browser sometimes just for temporary viewing. Like, you're not going to need this. You're just checking out a quick link. So yeah, I think a lot of innovations there.
I really love Arc. And when I had my MacBook from Netlify, I was using it and loved everything about it. And then got laid off, had to send my MacBook back, and now Windows. I have a PC. I cannot use Arc. And so what I'm hoping is that Arc will cause innovation in the space. And I actually switched over to Microsoft Edge because it has the vertical tabs, very similar to Arc. It doesn't have the profile spaces and things that you can do. And I don't think it has the groups that you can make out of your tabs like Arc did. But
put tabs in folders.
Yeah, so it has some of the pieces, and I also want the focus view where I don't have the bar up all the time. But there's a few things that it's missing, but I'm enjoying Edge. It's been a little bit of a switch, but
the main question is, how are they going to make money? Right now it's completely free, and for sure, like, they're not making any money. So like, would I pay $30 a month for it? Probably not. Would I pay like $10 a month? Maybe. Probably.
It kind of goes back to my unpopular opinion here, in a sense.
Because like it is very superficial UI upgrades, but like the UI upgrades help. So okay, fine, but like, am I paying $10 a month for the rest of my life? I don't know.
Subscription service is hard for me too.
So I used to have Superhuman, right? And I think I maybe plugged it on a very early episode of this podcast, and I unsubscribed because I realized, like, I'm not using this enough to justify $30 a month. And I can just live with it. And Superhuman was missing some key features from Gmail. Like, it was not good at setting up filters. And like, you can't have a lot of email and not have filters. So I just canceled it.
I've been burnt by email clients too. I bought one. It was just a one-time fee, but to have all of my different Gmail accounts in one service, and it crashes all the time. Like,
that doesn't sound like a nice experience. Yeah, so I haven't tried Arc. How do I get an invite?
You ask someone with Arc every single week. They give you 5 new invites to spread out. It's actually kind of a BS strategy. Like, I don't super agree with it, because it's trying to be exclusive, right? But it's not really. If every single user gets 5 every week, it's not actually exclusive. It's just trying to do some viral ground up social media marketing thing.
Kind of reminds me of what was that? I always forget what it's called. Clubhouse. No? Clubhouse? What was it Clubhouse?
Clubhouse? No. So Clubhouse had legitimate capacity reasons, right? Like, they are running servers.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Concurrent users is a problem, and it costs them money. So yes, I understand. But a browser, which is only client side, there's no reason.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Right. So I can put my invite codes in here. It looks like it's been used a couple of times this week, but you can feel free to take it, and whoever else gets it next week, you can get it next week.
I'm gonna use it right
Sweet.
now. Actually, I'll wait until after we record it. All right. So that's one pick. We have another.
Then we had gaming picks. I think I set Brittany off on a gaming streak. So I was only going to say that because of the holidays and Christmas and all that, I picked up what?
Did he froze again?
I was talking about Minecraft, and I think Sean threw the Mario Party pick in there. I'll let him talk about it when he comes back, but I'll go ahead and talk about Minecraft. So we started playing Minecraft with the kids over the holidays, and I have gotten into this like building thing. Like, I love Minecraft now, where I will just go out and like farm for my materials and then build all these houses. We have this like place that's on the beach with like baby turtles, and I built this like modern beach house that like looks out to the sunset when I go to sleep at night, and it's just like really cool. I love it.
Yeah, like I was telling you before we started recording that I haven't played Minecraft in a long time, but I enjoyed it as well. And it's really it's
kind of
fun.
Calming, just like go around and do whatever you want, open world, just look around.
Have you seen a game called Valheim?
I've heard of that.
So it's supposed to be kind of the same thing, but it's set in this Viking fantasy kind of world. It's supposed to be very good. I haven't tried it, but I'm looking to probably try it at some point. But yeah.
All right, you back, Sean?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry, my internet is not good. There's a video I would recommend. There's a 4D Minecraft that someone made where you can travel in
4D?
time. Yeah, and you can build stuff.
Nice.
I don't know how it works, but you can scroll back and forth in time and then like retrieve things that you left in the past, and then to go get it in the future.
That sounds so crazy.
Yeah. I've never got into Minecraft. I don't like the graphics, but people really love it. So more power to you.
Yeah.
But my pick was Mario Party. I put it off for a long time because I don't want to pay $60 for a Mario game. But my sister was very insistent on it. And then we got into it. And it's just a bunch of mini games that don't really matter, but it's fun. The reason I pick it is because my mom, who never games, my mom was actually gaming with us. And we had a lot of fun. And so it's really good for whole family. Even if you're not super tech savvy, you can kind of get into it. So
is that the Switch?
Yeah, on the Switch. Yeah.
That's the one.
I'm sure they have
system we
versions
don't
for.
have yet.
I'm sure they have all systems for everything. Like Mario Party is one of those titles that has been.
Is it
around forever.
cross-platform? I thought Mario was exclusive to Nintendo.
Sure. I mean, but like you don't have to have a Switch. You can use one of the older Nintendo systems.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my second gaming pick was Pictionary Air. I had never heard of this, and my mom's like, "Have you seen this commercial?" And I'm like, "No." And so we watched the commercial, and you're drawing with this wand in the air, and it draws it up on the TV screen. And so you don't need paper for Pictionary. I'm like, oh, this looks really cool. And it's really cheap. It's like $12.99 or something. And we found it at Five Below, and she bought it, and the kids like loved it. You put your phone up where it's facing them, like the camera, and then you just draw with the wand. It is reversed, so you can't really watch while you're drawing, which is interesting and getting used to that. But I don't know. Yeah. I really thought it was an innovative idea. I really liked it.
Yeah, it sounds like fun for like a small party or just like in general. Yeah.
Like a party game. I know we talked about that.us earlier, but I did not mention the Texas conference is coming up in 2 weeks. I don't even know if this podcast will be out before then, but hopefully go and like spend your education stipend and go. They have James Quick, they have Becca, and another big keynoter there, like 70 to 80 speakers, I think. It's a big conference.
Oh, that's pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit far for me.
Yeah.
It's hard to justify, but maybe the one in July, that could work.
Yeah, they have one in Wisconsin in July. We're actually going there for spring break. It's at Kalahari in the Wisconsin Dells, and sounds like fun.
Yeah. Maybe I should go. All right. Yeah. I don't have any picks today. Actually, I'm going to pick time off. Yeah. Time off is great. You should take sometimes. If especially if you're starting to feel a bit burned out, it's very important, I'd say. So that's my pick.
I think that's a good pick. And travel too, if you can.
It's a lot of fun. And I think that's it.
All we got.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening. And as always, we'll see you probably next week or the week after. We'll see. And yeah, goodbye.
Later.
Bye.